You're listening to the AfterBuzz TV Network, now the largest new media platform on the web, and your #1 source for after-show entertainment. From the AfterBuzz Studios in Los Angeles, California, presented by Maria Menounos and Bing.com, and streaming live thanks to Akamai Technologies, this is AfterBuzz TV's Defiance After Show. We'll break down tonight's episode and get you all the latest news and gossip. And now, another post-game wrap-up show for your favorite TV show. It's AfterBuzz TV's Defiance After Show.
Before the wind.
Oh yeah.
Ooh, setting the tone here.
Listen to that sweet, sweet groove.
So groovy.
Bing is for doing, and we are doing another Defiance After Show, episode 107, Goodbye Blue Sky. I am Matt Lieberman, and sitting to my left, Scott Moore is back this week.
It was a nice little hiatus.
Yes.
Good to be back.
Scott Moore is back, and Nando Velasquez.
I'm back.
Yes.
I'm back as well.
Back from outer space.
Yes. Just in time to see some making out sessions with two women.
Oh my gosh.
Yes.
We're gonna
To
get
this song.
we're gonna get to the lady makeouts. Which we totally called like 10 minutes into the episode. Like, oh my, what is with this sexual tension this week?
That's one predictor I'm happy about.
Yeah, that came true.
Yeah.
Yeah. I'm excited. This is the first time that the three of us have been gathered without a guest. This is the first time
True.
on the show.
You're right.
I believe you are correct.
Yes.
Sir.
The triumvirate is complete.
Yes.
Yes. So a lot happening in this episode. The Razor Rain, which I love that opening of the Razor Rain. It was a beautiful shot, and then pounding down on the Spirit Riders. Sukar without his top hat, and it set a nice frame to have a lot of little stories interspersed throughout, and then ultimately some bigger stakes. You know,
it put a way to bring people together that may not have been together to kind of ride out this storm. So we had a lot of other little things going on that might not have happened if it wasn't for this Razor Rain. Yeah.
Just quick initial impressions, Nan?
Yeah, I liked that it was able to cover a lot of ground. There were a lot of different, like you said, there were a lot of new relationships forming. Some tighter than others. I can't get off of that. I can't get off of that. I know.
Some a lot closer than others.
Some a lot closer than others. The Razor Rain was very interesting. I guess it's just a lot of arc falls, like little meteorite type arc falls.
Yeah, well, an arc fall would be a whole piece, a big enough piece that you could go inside, and Razor Rain is the small pieces.
Yeah, and we discussed this because we haven't been playing the game, but we're just curious to see if
there was Razor Rain this week. So reach out to us on the Twitter, or on YouTube,
or on the chat room,
I'm
on the chat room right now.
Nando is live.
Yes,
on
Mr.
the
Tech
chat.
Guy,
I'm
Nando.
live on the
well,
chat.
It kind of took two things to me of the Razor Rain. I mean, even not from the game, but it just kind of brought to mind, you know, the tornado things that were going on in the Midwest, and also sort of the whole thing with an asteroid that's been in the news over the past couple months, like if an errant asteroid were to hit the planet. So it kind of made me think of both of those things with this Razor Rain a little bit. Yeah. Because you kind of took things from both of those things.
We're going to get into all the stories in just a second. I just want to talk really quickly about a movie called The Adventures of Serial Buddies. Those of you out there who love AfterBuzz TV's programming, we love providing so much of it for you for free. We do 60 shows a week now, and we don't get paid for it, but it does require money to keep this train rolling and keep providing such high quality content.
Keep these lights on.
So our AfterBuzz TV was founded by Maria Menounos and Kevin Undergaro, who created this really funny movie. It is now available for streaming and on iTunes.
Yes.
And it's going to be on DVD this fall, I believe.
It's going to be on DVD this fall, but right now it's on iTunes. It came out a couple of months ago. We were talking about it a couple of months ago when it came out in theaters. And a bunch of us went out to see it. It's great. It features a couple of people here from AfterBuzz. I mean, of course, Maria is in it. Maria Menounos is in it. Kevin Undergaro directed it. Phil Zitek, he helped edit it. A bunch of other people who were involved.
John Comerford.
Yeah, John Comerford, another person. He's does Mad Men with you, right? I believe.
He used to be on Mad Men. Yeah. He also does Justified. He's on the Breaking Bad after show. He's all over AfterBuzz.
And then there were a lot of guest stars too. They also had Kathy Lee Gifford, Chris McDonald, Artie Lang, Henry Winkler was the narrator.
Christopher Lloyd, Beth Ayres from Two Broke Girls.
Two Broke Girls, exactly.
People are all over this movie, and one of the stars in the movie, or two of them, Hal Rudnick and and Gian Molina, I know, and are very, very funny people. Fantastic local LA comedians.
Yeah, I know them too. Exactly. It's a really, really funny movie. So anyway, so we don't really do commercials here, like you were saying. This is something we do for the love of doing this, but at the same time, we do have to pay the bills. So this is a good way. And I was looking up on iTunes, and it's super cheap to even see this movie. You can rent it for $4.99, or you can buy it for $1 more. For
$5 more, you can own it and watch it as many times as you want. So it's a great deal.
I'd say give it a shot. I loved it. I thought it was hilarious. It's not Kevin's first movie. He's done a couple other ones that I like a lot.
Before.
But this one's really, really good. So I totally recommend. If you're on iTunes right now, it's really simple to just go on over to the movie section and search for Adventures in Serial Buddies and download it.
So if you love AfterBuzz TV and you love getting this programming, which we want to make for years and years to come, please give back and support us by downloading or streaming this really funny movie.
You're gonna love it.
We can continue producing all these great after shows for you for not a penny to your name.
Cool.
That's right.
All right, let's talk Defiance. So we've got this razor rain, and it lands square on Sukar. He's dying, and who does he see but his little wolf princess, Miss Irisa? Yes. So he sees a vision. She wakes up. We're not sure if that was a dream or if it was true. You know, she's marching out into the rainstorm to find Sukar, and drags Nolan with her. And we see an Irafiant sinking ceremony.
Yes. That was very fascinating.
Yeah, that's one of the things that I love so much about this show. I just want to know more and more and more about these cultures. Like, we still don't have anything from the Sensoths or the Liberatas, although we do know that the Liberata school teacher kissed Nolan
on the lips
for repairing the roof of the schoolhouse. Yes, and we're not sure if it was a man or a woman.
But that's a Liberata for you. You never know.
You never ever know. Well,
Can't be quite sure.
We learned from Grant that all of the Liberata are played by a woman.
Yes, that's right.
Yes,
played
that
by
was
the
a
same
fascinating
person.
little tidbit. Same person, yeah.
And all the Sensoths are played by the same
guy too. What was his name? Bruce, I think it was, or something.
I don't remember.
Okay.
That's okay.
Well, I'll say Bruce. Okay. We'll call him Bruce.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah, what the heck. But yeah, I was fascinated by this broth, because it supposedly just takes away the flesh and what they were saying, and you're left with bones. I'm like, what was that broth made of?
I don't know.
I'd like to know.
Well, it's like, what were these Votan actually able to take off of the ships that was not just technology? Like, the whatever they put into that broth, you know, it wasn't an earthbound compound. It was something that they had with them from their homeworld.
Well, it could have been stuff that was terraformed too when the Ark fell.
That's true.
That's true.
Yeah. That's very true.
That's a good point.
Brings another question. With this terraforming, you know, is it taking bits and pieces from all of their different homeworlds and planting them on Earth? Or is it a wholly new creation with brand new things that aren't found on any of the Votan worlds?
I kind of think it's the latter. It's
I
more
do
the
too.
latter.
That's what I thought it was. I mean, initially, but you did bring that up. I mean, maybe it does have things from their existing world as well.
I mean, this is landing in Earth soil, which might be something completely different to their other planets.
Yeah.
So there's a reaction of the items from the Ark Falls with the Earth soil and the grass and the environment, the atmosphere, perhaps the air, could be causing different results, mutations.
Different elements.
Different elements.
Yeah.
I mean, I took it as it was all new stuff when it was terraformed. But
sure.
I don't know for sure now.
Yeah.
Now I'm questioning.
As we know, you know, Sukar and Irisa, they have this intense relationship.
Yeah, they have a really intense bond there.
Because he believes that, you know, that she has been blessed. She has been, you know, visited by Urzu. Urzu flows through her. And now he believes Urzu flows through him too, because he's revived in this very shocking moment. We're like, but hold on.
Zombie Sukar, we would call him.
Yeah.
Jumps out of the broth.
We could just call him Sukar. Zombie Sukar.
Yeah, there you go.
Jumps out of the broth, and first thing he does, grabs an assault rifle. And he's just ready to go.
Yeah.
But here's the thing. They say that they're going to first sink all of his worldly possessions so that he can follow them into the afterlife, right? Where was the top hat?
I know. You were so upset about that.
You were hooked on the top hat.
I was furious. It took me like 10 minutes to calm down.
It did.
Because it doesn't make any sense. That's his most prized possession.
You know, maybe it was last season. Not TV season, but, you know, like fashion has seasons. Maybe, you know, it was so last month.
Who are you, Nando? Who are you? What have you done? And what have you done with the real Nando? Who cares about this top hat?
Well, I care about the top hat too. You apparently really do care about it, though. So it's possible he's not attached to earthly things like you are. Yeah. Maybe he likes to do a different style, a different look. He's trying to impress another Arathian girl.
He doesn't have to. He's only trying to impress Little Wolf.
That's probably true.
Meow. No. Or wolf. Sorry. It's not the right answer.
Yeah, wolf.
Yeah. We'll get into more of that when we get into the Kenya Stama storyline. Jesus. This episode, man. Lots of stuff. Okay. Yes. So Sukar is heading right to Defiance, and we see Irisa. She's torn here. You know, she's got allegiance to Nolan. She's got allegiance to Sukar, and she's being pulled in both directions. We do see that she does have some affection for the town, and I think for Nolan and her place in it. She is protective of these people. She doesn't want him to just kill. Yep. She's not as fierce as the woman we met in the pilot, I believe.
I agree too, but I think just as we were going along with the episode, it did feel a little bit more like she was being defiant, if I can use that from Defiance, but she felt very defiant with Nolan, and I felt like she was really, felt this bond to Sukar. She wanted to do whatever she could to help him out.
Well, I think she looks at Nolan as her defiant father, I suppose, or as her very controlling father.
It just felt like she was very independent in this episode from him. I almost felt like she was less attached to him and more concerned about Sukar and his well-being and what he was doing. And
well, this has been a multi-episode process. You look back to the Rin episode, which was the second episode. You saw her pulling away because of Nolan's dismissal of her visions. She has a vision again, and you see the look on Nolan's face. He's just stricken. He's afraid because it's something he doesn't understand, and he doesn't know how to protect her from this stuff.
And I think he's also maybe a little afraid of losing her too.
Absolutely.
As she's kind of drifting further and further away, and kind of reconnecting with people from her own race, I guess, her own alien background there. So
he's not an Arathian. He can't,
and he can never be that.
He can't provide that for her, and when she says she's going to stay for this sinking ceremony and he can go and tell Defiance about the Razor Rain, it's another symbol of just they're moving further and further apart, and Nolan is going to have to take some serious steps to prevent losing his daughter entirely, because at the end of the episode, he shoots Sukar multiple times. All Sukar was trying to do was save the town. And now this one intense link that she has to her past, to her people, to her culture, he murdered it with 8 or 9 or 10 shots. Yeah. To all over the body.
Again, it was Sukar. It wasn't. It was Sukar. It was. What do you do when you see a zombie? You shoot the hell out of it.
That's true.
Yeah.
And he was thinking he was out to destroy the town. He thought he was just crazy, and for him, he thought he had to do something to stop it.
But it's like yet again with Nolan, he still hasn't learned he can't shoot all his problems away. He's a crappy lawkeeper. Yeah. All he does is kill people.
It's just a trigger happy, typical. Let's just get rid of it with some guns and violence here, and solve all of our problems.
He's no man. No man gets left alive.
No man left standing.
No man left standing.
Oh my God.
Yeah.
I thought for a second, like when they're having the struggle in the arch, Sukar tells her to tie him up, and she's actually doing it. She's tying up her father, and she's about to get his hands, and I was like, is she really going to be able to get him bound up? And of course, no. He punches his own daughter in the face.
Well, she aimed a gun at him at one point there too, and no, I mean it was intense.
She threatened to slice him with her knives.
Yeah,
lots of angst.
Defiance.
I don't think they would have hurt each other if it really came down intentionally. If it came down to
it, but you do see this split, and I think from what it was before, from the very beginning when they came to Defiance, and she was so dependent on him, and now you're seeing she's coming into her own.
Well, exactly.
Doesn't need him in the same way anymore, and it's this whole kind of independent thing going on here.
Well, it was a great climax to that arc between Sukar and Nolan, and what side she should pick to actually have them battling for their lives with her watching and trying to decide what side to take. So
absolutely, it was a nice physicalization of what was going on internally for several episodes. and I think that their relationship is going to be further strained.
Oh yeah.
As we move forward. I just want to take a quick second before we continue and just discuss iTunes. I know we brought it up already when we discussed Serial Buddies, but another way that you can support our show in particular is to go to iTunes and please rate and review us. We love getting feedback. We've gotten a lot of positive feedback on the show, and we love being in touch with our fans. So please tweet at us, rate us, comment on the YouTube pages. All of this stuff gets noticed by our superiors and raises our rating here at AfterBuzz, and we want to continue creating the best possible show for you and getting great guests, and you are very much a part of that. So we thank everyone who has done that so far.
Yes.
And you can stream now too.
And you can stream as well, which is slightly different than iTunes, but you go on AfterBuzzTV.com if you have your iPhone or your iPad, or your Android, and you can watch live stream video of us right now if you're listening to us live.
Absolutely, and we love when people watch these shows live and live tweet at us during the shows.
Yeah.
So
we've got people from all the way over from Australia that I know check it out every week, so it's great.
Awesome.
Yeah. It's one big conversation. So let's talk Rafe, Quentin, and they get an unexpected visitor.
Yeah, it's an early morning visitor.
I don't know if she's mysterious, but
she's not mysterious.
Yeah, she's pretty shifty.
Well,
she's pretty
shifty, though. But that's what makes her mysterious. There is something there that she's hiding, and she hasn't been totally forthcoming with it. So
absolutely,
a little mystery to her, and what her real intentions are still.
Yes. But she comes in, she says, "Oh, there's a problem with my roller." Haven't we all heard this 1,000 times?
I hate it when people knock on my door with roller problems.
You know, my roller's in the shop.
Yeah.
Can I hang out? And of course, again, here with the Razor Rain, the storm is bringing people together that might not have been there.
Bringing people together.
Now she's gonna be sheltered there.
Unites all of us.
Yes.
Through sharp ass rain. And she's looking for Mr. Birch, who Quentin killed in self-defense an episode or two
thanks to
ago.
Ghost Luke over his shoulder.
Yeah.
Okay, Ghost Luke is a problem for me. I was fine with the first time.
I was fine with the first. I agree. The first time was okay.
Yeah.
Now that he's come back in this episode, I'm like, okay, it's a little too much.
Because this is going to be a pattern.
Yeah.
And now that they've had it in 2 episodes, they are just going to have Ghost Luke for the rest of the season, and it would be fine if he was a better actor.
Well, I guess he won't be coming on the show.
But he's Ghost Luke. He's got to be a little off.
I know, but like,
'cause it's sort of in his head.
Yeah, maybe he's just a little off. Maybe that's an acting choice.
But here's the thing: when they cast him in the role, he was only cast for the pilot. They didn't know they were going to bring him back. He was always going to die. So then later they were like, "Oh yeah, we should bring him back and have him be the voice of the mysterious golden artifact thing." And it's, I don't know. There's a scene and I'm getting invested, and it's like him and Rafe, and they're talking, and then all of a sudden they cut to a wide, and there's Ghost Luke, and I just flip out for a second.
No,
like,
I agree. I agree.
There?
It was too much this episode. I was fine last time because now it just adds a little bit of a cheese factor, a little bit of like, okay, he's not really needed. I get the last episode. It was kind of in his head, like just.
It's kind of like hitting the nail on the head a little bit. Like, we get that he's conflicted, you know, even if it was just like a sound effect and just like a look from Quentin, like he just received a message from the thing, you know, versus it being a materialized.
So obviously, in your face, a little. No, I do agree with that too.
But I do.
We'll see what happens with that.
I do like that he's keeping the artifact secret. Rafe asked if he destroyed the artifact like he was supposed to. Artifact tells him, "Tell him you did." So the artifact has an agenda.
Of course, it wants to protect itself too.
Yeah, I feel like it's self preservation.
Yeah, it doesn't want to go either.
It seems that because you called it last time. You said pretty much he shows up. Ghost Luke shows up to tell Quentin what to do when that artifact's in danger.
Well, and you knew that he wasn't really going to throw it out either. I mean, come on. He wasn't going to throw it out. He was going to not do it, and he was going to hold on to it because that's all part of the whole tying in with this whole season.
How much would it have sucked for the show if he just throws it away?
That's what I'm saying. You can't do that. It's like this is the big threat for the whole entire season. So you knew he was going to keep it.
But then Ghost Luke dives after it and brings it back up and raises it up.
And then Rafe walks in and he's like, why is that thing floating?
Yes, exactly. Well, I thought you were supposed to destroy it. I tried.
And
but
nicely lit in the background.
Yeah, with the Hallelujah music coming out or something.
Oh my God, just an acoustic cover. An acoustic cover
of Hallelujah?
No, an acoustic cover of Iron Maiden's 2 Minutes to Midnight.
Hey, who knows? The season is only halfway through. There's still time for that to be in there.
Yeah, there's still time for that.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
I love this show.
We don't know. We don't know how that artifact can get destroyed. It's not made of Earth materials, as far as we know.
As far as we know. But it was found on Earth.
But it was found on Earth.
Yeah.
Okay.
So Nikki she's playing this dangerous little baiting game where she's trying to get Rafe to admit that he killed Birch. She doesn't realize at first that it's Quentin.
Yeah.
Which, like, I mean, when you see him being all angsty, he just walks away with his allergies. I would be a little bit suspicious.
I would still think it would be Rafe if I was her walking in there, knowing him and his background, and thinking of Quentin being this kind of angsty teenager that's quiet and shy. I wouldn't think it was him right away either. I would definitely think it was
Rafe's kind of thuggish, so I totally
would
agree.
definitely think it was Rafe.
Yeah. And we get a name for Rafe's dead wife, Rafe's late wife, Pilar, who had a sewing room.
Yes.
Where Nikki...
It's such a big fancy house. You got a sewing room.
Yeah. Nikki took a little napski.
And Nikki knew where the sewing room was.
Yes.
Yeah.
So there's obviously some connection, some more history there too.
Yes, with the former wife, living wife, formerly living wife,
first deceased wife.
Yes, I couldn't think of the word.
First now deceased wife.
I know. I was like, I can't think of the word.
But here's something interesting. This brings up an interesting point. So Nikki ruled the town, presumably as the town was being founded.
Yes.
The town isn't that old.
No.
You know, the Votans came 30 years ago. We've got the Pale Wars for at least another 15 years. And then maybe Defiance is maybe 15 years old. So Nikki could have potentially been the only mayor.
Yeah, that's sort of what I've gotten the impression of, that she was the only mayor
in its entire history. So what role did she play in Rafe coming to control all of the mining operations in town?
Well, also, don't forget one thing, just let me bring this up too with Nikki, is she's carrying around a respirator.
Yeah.
And considering this is a mining operation...
That's true!
It's possible she's had something to do with the mining operation in the past.
You think she does, because she obviously knows all about this artifact and everything else, so she does have a huge connection. She was involved with it somehow. She was involved with the
Okay, guys, crazy, definitely wrong theory. What if Nikki is Pilar? I know that's not a thing.
That can be for predictions later.
It's not going to be in predictions because it's totally wrong.
Yeah.
Fine, then I'll take it and make it my own then, and then when it happens...
Sweet. Then you'll be right,
I'll
Scott.
take all the credit and glory.
Yeah. You'll be right, and we'll take you to dinner, Scott. Will that make you happy?
Yes.
Okay, good.
Very happy, Scott.
Yeah. So Quentin kind of tells his father, he's like, he broke into the house, and he attacked me, and I fought back. I just shouldn't have fought back so hard. This is poor mopey, murderous Quentin.
Yeah.
I feel so bad for that kid. He's so mopey, he's so smart.
Angsty.
He just wants Dad to love him, and he wants the artifact to tell him what's up, and he wants his brother back, and he just wants
to be happy. And loved.
He wishes he had a television to watch. Not necessarily, but I mean, when you're that mopey, you want something.
Well, Alex got the radio station, so I mean, what does Quentin have? Nothing really.
Yeah, Alec, that punk, according to Amanda.
Yeah.
Which let's talk about that now. Let's talk about Christina and Alec up in the arch. Unless you guys have something else to say about the Nikki, Rafe, Quentin.
Well, I just the fact that I loved her little evil. She was kind of like the witch from Snow White, the way she was like in the house and going, "Oh, look at this pillow I found with some blood on it. I'm going to take it with me." And then fooling Rafe into revealing that Quentin killed.
She's being pretty like upfront about it.
Yeah.
She's like having zero guile about it. She's just like, I'm gonna frame you for murder unless unless you admit that you murdered him, kids.
Yeah.
Like
it was interesting because she had cut her finger.
I just love that. Oh, look, by the way, I cut my finger.
You give me a Band-Aid.
Fionnuala Flanagan leaving no piece of scenery unchewed in this scene. Oh my gosh.
She was quite delectable in this.
Yeah,
scene, I thought. I enjoyed it quite a bit.
But I love this hinting at their shared history and what it means for Pilar's death, and you know, Rafe's status within the community. How would the rest of the community feel if they knew what he did and how it got his wife killed?
Well, it's a secret that she's holding on to, so I'm sure he would not like it if he doesn't even want his son, if he doesn't even trust his family to know about it.
Well, so I'm saying there's a lot of TBD there.
Yeah.
Dare we say it gets revealed at Christy and Alec's wedding, perhaps?
Ooh. That's a
drama.
good one.
I mean, come on.
That's a good one.
No, I mean, it's obviously, yes, we're going to get more and more of this as we get
okay.
further along the season.
So,
definitely some good stuff there.
Yeah.
Yeah. Christy and Alec, Trouble in Paradise. Our little radio DJ is revealing more and more that he's a pretty average teenage boyfriend, fiance type.
Yeah.
He's not more special than the other guys.
Except he doesn't mind bathing with the family from time to time.
No, in fact, he didn't even think
Matt
about
bathes with his family all the time. I mean, there's nothing wrong with that.
The time.
There's nothing wrong with that, right?
Oh.
I mean, come on, if that's your thing, that's your thing.
Scott,
Bathing ritual?
Is there something wrong with that?
I'm just saying there's not.
Scott, you'd tell me if there was something wrong
I
with
would.
that, wouldn't you?
And I'm saying bathing rituals with your whole family?
Scott doesn't mind.
That's
He's
completely
a never
normal.
nude, so he's okay with it. So,
It's completely normal.
Sorry, we just got to arrested about
But like, how inconsiderate! How inconsiderate of Alak.
Alack.
As
We've been mispronouncing it apparently.
Yeah, well, so has Christy. Okay. Yeah, if Kenya's pronunciation is correct. So if Alak is very inconsiderate, he doesn't tell Christy beforehand that if you want to marry me, you're gonna have to bathe naked with my family.
Yes.
This is what we do
for 20 minutes
in Casty culture, for 20 minutes.
And if you don't like it, you have to tell my parents, not me.
Because he's a little pansy. He is. He's afraid of his dad.
He is afraid of his dad. I will say that's why he didn't want to do it, because he knows he doesn't want to confront his dad about that.
But here's an interesting moment. When he finally agrees to tell his parents that he made the call and that she doesn't have to bathe with them, and like, look how relieved she was. He says, you know, I think my dad will be fine with it. And then she asks about his mother, and right then Sukar, our zombie Sukar, bursts in. I think he might be more afraid of his mother than he is of his father. And I mean, for good reason.
For a very
but
good
I want to
reason.
know why he knows that. Do you know what I mean? Because she's been playing a very veiled game, and she hasn't necessarily been manipulating him as bald-faced as, you know, we've seen other characters. You know, she manipulates Daytak, Stama, very, you know, deftly. And she manipulates a lot of other people. Why is Alak afraid to tell his mother that Christy won't bathe?
I think it's a trust thing. I think it's he knows that his mom has control over his dad.
Well, that's what I was going to say. I think he knows, even if there is nothing deeper there, he's seen that way that she treats him.
You think he knows that for certain?
I think he knows that.
Because Daytak doesn't know.
Daytak doesn't know. But I think also he's scared of Daytak, but he knows that as long as he has his mom on his side, he's protected. And once he betrays her trust, once he betrays her, she will lose that protection over him.
Remind me, does Alak know that this marriage is all part of a plot to kill Rafe McCauley, or no? He doesn't.
He
right?
does not have any idea about that at all.
Okay, so he does. So like that's why I'm so curious, because if he did know, then he'd know that that's why Daytak would be okay with it, because Daytak wants this marriage anyway, so that he can own the mines one day. But this thing about Stama, I don't think that it's about, you know, trust or the fact that, you know, if she backs him, Daytak will back him. I think that there is another level of fear there, and I want to know why.
Well, I'm sure there is, but if you're not even looking at that just on the surface, you would just think, okay,
sure.
He sees the behavior of how they would be and how she controls her husband, and he sees that. Yeah. So that would make him fearful to confront.
I agree. There's still some questions about Stama.
Definitely.
There's still some questions about her to figure out, and we'll get to that when we do. But yeah, so it's possible that Alak sees something else that we don't know about yet, that we still have revealed.
Hasn't been revealed.
But we do see how powerful Stama is. She is incredibly powerful. She can, as we keep saying, can manipulate Datak. And
can manipulate like everyone.
Yeah, and manipulate everyone. I mean, Nolan called her out a couple of episodes
I love
ago
that
too.
Episode at the end of that episode was so great.
So she has some very, very, some very manipulative powers herself.
Motivate. Yeah, she has her own.
Mayor Nikki's not the only one that can do the. Oh, well, look at that.
The word you were going to use instead of manipulate, you had an S on the tip of your tongue. It was seductive powers.
Well, it is seductive, but I want to get to that later.
She's a seductress.
I think if the one last thing about Christian and Alak, just like all the shenanigans with all the music that they were playing, and of course Amanda Rosewater calls and she says, "Look, if you don't play Shiny Happy People, I will kick your ass to the curb, you little punk. I am the mayor.
Love that.
Now play Shiny Happy People."
That's right.
Yeah,
and he still didn't do it.
Yeah.
Well, he did it off camera because we can't afford Shiny Happy People.
But you know what? They're playing covers of these songs anyway. You can't afford some Canadian band playing Shiny Happy People.
No,
you can't.
No, you can't. No. It's that expensive. It's more expensive than
Van
Morrison.
In fact, we're gonna have to pay now for you saying it all these times here. Thank you very much.
Shiny Happy People, Shiny Happy People. Buy a lot of cereal buddies so we can afford to say Shiny Happy People.
Yeah,
that's trademark protected. 5,000 each time you say it.
Oh boy, that's more than happy birthday.
I know.
Oh wow.
So let's get into it. This is the moment that all of the male fans of this show,
male friends too,
have been thinking about. Let's talk about Kenya.
Come on. Some female friends
and some female friends got into it.
Some female friends, yeah.
Yeah.
We're equal.
So Stama walks into the need want, and Kenya thinks, okay, it's time to pay up my protection money, and Stama pushes it back. She's like, oh no, I'm here to arrange a prostitute for my son, so he may learn the ways of a woman before his marriage.
Yes, a human woman,
so that he can
complicated.
So that he can please his wife, and we get a nice crack about how it took forever to find the G-spot in human history.
Yes.
Yes.
Scientists only recently discovered it, and that was such a
nice little knock on humans in general.
But it was so funny because it is a bizarre thing, like with Kenya saying, like, how weird it would be your mom coming in and helping set up a prostitute for the son who's going to get married, so he kind of knows what's going on.
And
it's a little weird.
Stama was offended.
It's a little weird.
Stama was offended.
But she was offended by that. Yes.
Well, she was offended because Kenya laughed.
Yeah.
At that concept,
and
it was an uncomfortable. It was kind of like a little bit of an uncomfortable, like laugh. It wasn't. We didn't see it as an insult, but obviously she heard the laughter, and because that family feels so regal, and so upper class, she took that as an insult.
Well, the phrase that she used in Casti culture, seeming as being,
and also that she's a Marusha.
Yeah,
there was like a certain level of, what level she was at in Casti culture.
Yeah.
But seeming as being, you see me as a fool.
Then I am a fool.
Then I am a fool. And Kenya draws her back in, and the Razor Rain starts, and they're stuck in the need want.
They're stuck.
Guys.
They're trapped. They have to light some candles.
Oh, baby, it's too cold outside.
Yeah,
Just
you
come
can't
on
leave,
in.
so you gotta have the candles.
It's metal outside. It's deadly out there.
Should have played that song. I'm sure the rates for that song aren't that expensive.
Right?
Right? Come on.
So the wine starts flowing, and
therapy sessions going on.
Exactly. Yeah. And Kenya's like, you talk about your husband and your son a lot, but you don't talk a lot about you. Let's talk about you, Scott.
What do you like to do? What makes you happy?
I love my boys, but my life is a little unfulfilling. Oh, really? Said everyone ever. Wow. So
let's pour a little more wine and talk about it a little more.
Oh no, I've had quite enough. Well, actually, maybe just one more.
Just a drop more.
Just one more. And she starts talking about poetry, and like the sexual tension is so thick that I swore she was talking about self-stimulation when she said poetry. And then it turned out to actually just be spoken word, like she's just a slam poet.
Yeah, exactly.
I wanted to see her do some slam poetry. I wanted to have some beatnik stuff.
Yeah, exactly.
I wanted to...
Little bongo.
I wanted to experience that. Come on.
Yeah. Well, what we got instead was pretty cool, too.
No, that was great.
Yeah. So, yeah, no, she doesn't have any poetry on hand.
No. Couldn't remember.
No Longfellow? No, none of that? Sorry, I couldn't help that.
Yeah,
one.
Of course you did. Of course you couldn't help.
It's two girls. Of course they know Longfellow.
Yeah. So they make their own poetry instead.
Yes.
And
they make their own music.
But here's the most interesting kicker of all. So Kenya makes an offhanded comment about, what would your husband say if he saw this?
Watch this?
And she said, if he ever finds out, he will kill both of us without a second thought.
All right. What kind of guy does that? That's all I gotta say. I got a little New York there. I'm like, hey, what kind? Come on, you got two hot girls.
Who would do that? Come on,
what
are you talking about?
One of them's your wife, and you want to bring the other girl.
Yeah.
Hey,
what's wrong with
come
that?
on.
Hey, doesn't he already go there to get serviced anyway?
Forget about it.
Boomba.
Yeah.
But it's either a very jealous man or a man with a lot of pride and a lot of honor. And
I think the latter.
I would say a little both. A little column A, a little column B there.
Well,
you got the jealous, and you also got the pride, and being a community leader that he is.
We also don't know how Castathans feel about homosexuality. Everyone else seems to be cool with it.
Yes, it seems to be very.
Well, don't forget
open
there was also that group marriage.
From
the stagecoach.
Exactly.
That's
the
what I'm saying.
land
So it
coach
seems to be very open. But you're right. You don't know if Casty's a little more conservative.
Because they are a very seemingly conservative culture, other than
the bathing, the family. Every 2 minutes.
But that's with the family. I guess it's not necessarily your.
Well, you look at what Alax said to Christy. He's like, you humans, you worry about everything, and you're way too hung up on your bodies.
Yeah.
Like, it's just a different culture. They just don't think about that stuff in Casty, but they might think of some other things.
Yeah.
It also could be that, he thinks as the head of his household, if she's seeking pleasure somewhere else...
There's something wrong with him.
Exactly. That's a comment on, I can't satisfy my wife, she must die. I guess. I don't know. But we saw... I mean, we'll get into that in predictions.
But I was going to say we saw a softer side of her.
Yes.
This time. I mean, seriously, because we've seen her be so manipulative and everything else, and it just felt like this was we saw the Casty side of her today.
Well, here's another thought that might be true also. She might be lying about it. She might just want to control Daytak so much and not give him, the honey.
That's
with the extra honey. Maybe she wants to separate the two of them. She's got Kenya right now as a confidant, and they have a secret.
Yes, she liked
They're
that,
sharing
she
a secret, which she likes, and she's very manipulative, and she's all about secrecy.
Well, here's the thing. She was paired up with a man, and then originally, before Daytak even entered the picture, Daytak slew her original husband and became her current husband. She sensed power and greatness in him, but we don't know necessarily that she was ever sexually attracted to men in the first place. No concrete proof
that's
anyway.
True. I mean, you're right.
She's so duplicitous.
You can't assume that. Yeah.
She's so duplicitous that she easily, could have just been perpetrating this lie all along, but having secret feelings for women.
Maybe she went over there with that intention from the start with Kenya.
Entirely possible, because Daytak was out of town. It was the one opportunity.
And she'd be trapped there with the storm. So it was a great way to kind of have that whole setup.
Exactly.
Yeah, there's a lot of things there that were going on.
I want to open it up to speculation, because there's a moment from the coming soon package that applies to this. So let's say we're getting into predictions. Can we say?
Well, now we can say that.
Yes. Now, your AFTERBUZZ TV
predictions. Cool. All right. So, in the coming soon package this season on Defiance, there's a moment where Daytak says something like, "You are not my wife," or something like that. He says something angrily, and then we see a shot of Stama like visibly upset,
like he knows,
crying. And this is the same package that aired 2 weeks ago when we saw the last episode. We didn't have any context then. I think that that's about this moment here.
I definitely do. When I saw it again tonight, that's exactly like he knows.
Which begs the question,
or he thinks he knows.
Begs the question: was this a one-time thing? I think not.
Oh, I agree. I think not as well.
When the Nolan's away, Kenya wants to play.
Kenya does play.
She does play for pay.
She knows
for pay.
She knows how to play.
But she also plays
every
for
day.
Play.
Yeah, she knows how to
every
play.
day.
And Nolan's away.
She plays and plays.
Even in the month of May.
Sometimes for pay, sometimes for play.
Yes.
Pay or play.
Oh, hey, Blue Jay. Yeah.
Yes.
Why don't you just stay, Blue Jay?
Yeah. Scott. Speculation.
Well, I'm stealing yours. I mean, Nikki's Pilar. Let's go with that.
Nikki's Pilar. Nikki's so Pilar.
She is Pilar.
My gosh.
Come on. She knows.
I kind of like, it just hit me, but I do like the fact that Mayor Nikki is possibly a minor.
Yeah.
She's a senior citizen and a minor, technically. Oh, God, that was really punny. But I believe that she's had a lot more to do with that mining operation.
Well, she's definitely been in the mine. She's been in the L7 shaft because she knows what's down there.
She knows what's down there.
So maybe that's because she discovered it.
And I think what you said, like, she was involved with the founding of this town, and she may have been mayor this whole entire 15, 20 years.
Yeah,
so she knows the secrets. She knows what's buried there.
Yeah, she knows where the bodies are buried, including, and that could
including
also be the reason why, or like, how stricken Rafe's face was when Quentin mentioned where he had thrown Birch.
Rafe had quite the faces in this week's episode.
Oh, he's super expressive. Graham Greene is just great.
Lots of faces this week.
But it could very well be that that's where his wife was thrown too.
Yeah, that's a very good possibility.
To be determined.
Which would be even more eerie because you would be hiding something very severe for that to happen. Yeah,
like father, like son, and I'm really excited for next week because we're gonna find out hopefully some of these answers
and more.
Scott Moore, where can people find you?
You can find me on the old Twitter at the SMAN80 SMAN80.
And you could also find me at the old Twitter at Nandovel, Nandovel.
All right, you can find me on Twitter at Matt Lieberman. That's MattLieberman. You can also find me here on AfterBuzz TV on the Mad Men After Show, and this summer I'm going to be on the Copper After Show, Under the Dome, and I believe Low Winter Sun.
I think I'm doing Under the Dome too.
Great.
So I think I'll be doing that one.
I'm tired just hearing all that. All the shows.
It's gonna be a heck of a lot of fun.
Fun-packed summer.
And you can find me on Hannibal.
Yes.
I forgot to say that, but that's fine. Anyway,
thank you guys
everywhere.
so much. Thank you guys so much. We'll see you next week.
Yeah, have a great week.
From Bing.com, executive producers Maria Menounos, Kevin Undergaro, Phil Svitek, and the entire AfterBuzz TV staff. We would like to thank you for listening to the AfterBuzz TV network. To watch or listen to other after shows and post comments or questions, be sure to visit AfterBuzzTV.com. I'm Sir Richard Wentworth, and this has been a presentation of AfterBuzz TV.
Buzz you later.
The views expressed herein are those of the hosts only and do not necessarily reflect the views of AfterBuzz TV or its owners or principals.